I think you should argue in front of your kids with wisdom and not in anger.
Yeah.
You should conflict resolve, but not like at each other.
I think if you fight in front of your kids, you also make up in front of your kids. You teach them how that whole process works.
Don't push your kid aside to pursue something. You've got to keep communication open and keep your kid can't become less important because you are now pursuing a relationship with someone else. That can never happen. Obviously, when you're in a marriage, it's different, and your marriage is the centre of your home, and so it has to be prioritised. Every so often you meet a healthy young person, you're like, wow. And I'm
You
like,
exist.
Yeah, and it's like...
Welcome to the Messy Mummies podcast, Mikayla. It's nice to have you here.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's going to feel so weird, but so much fun at the same time. So Mikayla is a youth pastor at Harmony Church.
Yeah.
She is a wonderful wife and mother of 1.5. One's still cooking.
Yeah.
And she's just an all-round great friend. And so I feel incredibly blessed to have you here.
Thank you. I feel blessed to be here.
I'm glad. I thought we could kick things off with a game.
Okay.
As you know, I am the queen of games.
You
so
are the
it has
queen of games?
It has to be. This is
Okay.
called Hot or Not Take.
Okay, we can do that.
And because I know you are a very opinionated person, which is one of the things I hold most dearly about you.
Awesome.
I want to get your take on a few things, and I'll throw
Okay.
in my opinions too, so you
Okay.
don't feel alone. So, number one, gentle parenting just creates entitled kids.
I was like, I wonder how controversial the questions are going to be.
Super.
I think it depends how you do it. Yeah. I like gentle parenting in the way that you see it in most places, I think is ridiculous and doesn't work at all.
Agreed.
And it does say, like, in the Bible it says that, like, God disciplines the ones that he loves. And I think that, like, discipline has a place to, like, love your kids well. And so I think it depends on how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in this day and age, yes, it does.
Yeah.
We've seen that trend, and there is this looming air on the fact that, like, the next generation is doomed. But I am slowly seeing people come to their senses.
Yeah.
I think if gentle parenting is done well, it creates good relationship and connection. But done badly, it creates entitled kids. And yeah. Anyway, next one. You should never lie to your kids, even about Santa.
I don't think you should lie to your kids. I think you know that one, eh? Because I was really hurt when I found out that Santa was not real. No, he's not real. But yeah, and then I figured it all out, and it made me question God as well. And it's like so many. Yeah, I was like, my parents have betrayed me. They like manipulated me and made me like behave myself because of this fake man that never came. So yeah, I don't lie to Katie, but I'm tactical in like how I
present information.
Yes, because she doesn't need to know everything. But then I also don't want to lie to her.
What a good mum. I'm
Thanks.
totally going to lie to her.
I think a lot of people have a different opinion on that, eh?
I like the idea of creating magic for her. And I don't mind that she lives in that as long as I can keep that alive. But she'll find out eventually. She's a smart kid already.
Yeah. Probably side-eye you from the beginning, like this fat man that comes down the chimney, like really.
Okay, next one. If your toddler throws a tantrum, ignore them completely.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, because I think like kids need emotional regulation, and I don't actually think toddlers know how to do that themselves. I don't think. Yeah, it depends on the situation. My thing was always like hold Katie, and that always works better than ignoring Katie. I tried both ways. It might depend on your kid though, but in my experience, ignoring just makes it worse and makes her feel unloved, and but not trying to talk to them when they're having a tantrum, because that's
they're a bit unreasonable.
Yeah, not productive.
That's very fair. I think I agree with you. I think tantrums, like any form of communication from a kid, is trying to communicate a reason. And so as long as you're able to distinguish between something that they need and something that they just want, I think you can address that appropriately.
Yeah, for sure.
You should talk to your baby like an adult, not in baby talk.
I don't think that's like a should question, if that makes sense. Because I I definitely made an effort to talk to Cadence like she was a coherent human being. But then also sometimes still now, like I'll pretend like baby talk with her just to be funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I wouldn't teach her things in baby talk. Because like I shouldn't, I'm sure like they won't see it, so it's fine to say, but I have family members that still like use baby words for things because they were taught that.
Right.
And that was all that, and even names in the house are different to like actual names.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't pronounce things. And so it's like, I don't know, I just think, I don't want to be judgmental about it, but I would rather have an articulate child.
Yeah. That's fair. Liam told me when Aria was born, no baby talk. He said, you say every word correctly.
Oh, yeah?
And so when I said ta for the first time, he looked at me and he said, ta isn't a real word. We're not using that.
Oh, wow. So he's like real strict on it.
He was really like, he's chilled out. Like he's a good dad. Like he's not controlling at all. But it was just funny that he was so caught up on the fact that he didn't want to say things to her that wasn't a real word. Like it was a really big deal for him to like teach them the right thing from the beginning.
Yeah. Is tone, like, does that count as baby talk for him?
I mean, he talks to me in baby talk, so tone's fine. I think it's just the words he got caught up on. It's fine if your house is messy. Your kids are loved and fed.
Yeah, I do agree with that, but I think there's a difference between messy and dirty. But because like for me, I have actually struggled with my house like being messy through most of being a mum. But dirty is like a different story, I think. And if I ever like got to that point, I'm like, something's like probably not great with me right now if I've like let my shower like look like this or whatever it is. But yeah, difference between messy and dirty.
I like that clarification. It's really good to have in my mind. See, I grew up in a really messy house. No shade to my mum, but it created a very clean and neat freak child.
Okay.
Growing up. So I'm like, I have to have my spaces tidy as much as I can because I will feel overwhelmed if I don't. So I'm kind of like, great if your kids are loved and fed. That's what we want in relationship over house state all the time.
Yeah.
But also like, I want my house to be clean.
Yeah. There's a line, I think. Like if you can't see the floor, like how do you know it's not dirty? You know? And so it's, depends.
Yeah, fair enough. Husbands are the biggest reason for the house being messy.
So true.
Kidding. No kid should have a smartphone before high school. This one I'm very interested in.
Yeah. In an ideal world, I would say I agree with that. Unfortunately, like saying that, like I'm a hypocrite because Katie has a phone because her dad lives in Australia and so it's her like means of communication when she's going between countries and then to talk to him while he's over there and so it's not something that I can be like you can't have this and take away that independent communication but she is not allowed on it for long. She actually has a 30-minute screen time limit a day.
Good on you, Mikayla.
Because I'm like, no, like that's not happening. It's scary. Like even teenagers, like watching teenagers with smartphones, it's scary how much they have access to. So yeah, I don't think kids should have phones. It's not connected to data though. It's only connected to the Wi-Fi and we can like turn that off. Yeah.
That's fair. I think that if a kid is in a situation where they're not with their parent, such as at a sleepover or they bus to school or they go to a friend's house, I want them to have a phone with them because I don't know what's going to happen, and I want to make sure that they're not reliant on someone else to be able to communicate with me. But it's not going to be their phone. It's going to be my phone that I'm going to lend you, or the family phone that you are lent while you are out. Yeah. And I want it to be a brick phone so you cannot access the internet.
Yes. Yeah.
Ideally.
And no social media.
Yeah. Catch me like 10 years from now with Aria with a huge phone. Anyway, I'm probably going to eat my words with that one. You should never say because I said so to your child.
Probably not, but I do. Is my honest answer.
Guilty.
Because it's like the whole like, why? And then it gets to a point where I'm like, I can't even think of an answer. I'm like, just because I said so. Yeah. And I think sometimes it's appropriate. Yeah. But I think for the most part, you should try and actually explain to kids like why a decision's been made in whatever context they have to understand it. But yeah, I do think my parents used to use that on me, and so I didn't like it. And so when I say it, I'm like, I sound like my mum. I don't know how I feel about that.
Does that trigger yourself?
A little bit. I'm like triggering myself. Yeah. But yeah, so depends. Yeah. Is my answer. What about you?
That's fair. I like the idea of explaining things to the kids because I feel that it's teaching them to articulate reasoning. And I think that's a really important skill for kids to develop. I think that helps it along. Although you can tell when a child is just saying why to be annoying. And I'm going to be annoying right back. But I also really like the idea of making sure that a kid knows when they can negotiate things that you say. And I think that involves some reasoning and you can tease it out together. But when I say because I said so and there's a hard line, that's when you stop questioning and we're done. And you ultimately submit to my authority.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. I like your interesting.
I don't disagree with you, but I can like imagine so many conversations like where people would disagree, if that makes sense. Yeah. But I don't disagree with you. Yeah.
I like people disagreeing with me. I think it's so much fun. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, like you make the best decisions for your family because you know what's best for your kids and you know them. So that's what it is. You shouldn't force your child to hug anyone, even family.
Oh, 100%. I do actually agree with that. Yeah. Like it's comfort like over anything. Like, yeah. I don't think I was ever forced to hug anyone when I was a kid either. But I always say like I think kids should greet people and be polite to people. Like I don't want any of my kids to just like snob people when they walk past because it's like you don't have to talk to people if you don't want to. But hugging people, a hug's personal. It's like it's up to the kid if they feel comfortable or not, I think.
Yeah. I think for me and our family, like when we go to sleep, like we hug and say goodnight. And that's a really big thing to us. And so for Aria, I encourage her to hug. And I do force her to hug her dad goodnight because that's important. But people who she doesn't know well, even family that she doesn't know well, like that's your choice and I'm going to respect your boundary. But people who are close to her, I'm okay with.
Highly encouraging.
I like the way you put that. Parents shouldn't argue in front of their kids.
I'm in two minds on that. I think it depends how you argue because I was raised in like, no shade to my parents, but like a pretty high conflict household. Like there's a lot of yelling and arguing that I have in my childhood memories, and it taught me a really unhealthy way of like doing relationship. And then on the other hand, my husband David never ever saw his parents fight, and so when we like entered a relationship, we like actually realized straight away we're like neither of our family what do you call it, conflict resolution cultures, is that the right way to put it, are going to work for us, because it like very nearly, like it could have been the reason that we didn't stay together, because it is like, if you're so conflict averse because you've never seen it and you don't know how to conflict resolve, like that's dangerous, and it like makes you kind of hide, and it's almost like peacekeeping instead of peacemaking, you know, because that's all you know. But then I think running into an argument like a rhino also isn't the most productive, and that's definitely my tendency, because that's what I was raised with. But so I think you should argue in front of your kids with wisdom, and not like in anger, if that makes sense. Like you should conflict resolve, but not like, you shouldn't be like at each other, if that makes sense.
I completely agree. Like you, I grew up in a conflict family and man, did we fight. And like you, I'm a bit of a bull in a Chinese shop, and if someone confronts me or anyway, moving on. Liam's family come from a very healthy conflict home. They know how to fight well.
That's cool.
And I think that is one of the biggest skills parents can have, is learning how to fight well. Fighting for each other and for a purpose that brings you closer together is the reason we should fight. And I think if you fight in front of your kids, you also make up in front of your kids. You teach them how that whole process works. I completely agree with you, like fighting with wisdom. I love the way you put that. I do think if it does get too much of an adult conversation, that's when you take it behind doors, and whether you signal each other through a word, through an action, but there needs to be a cutoff and some discernment about what's appropriate for your kids to see. But again, if you hash it out, then you come back in front of your kids and you resolve it so that they can see that mummy and daddy still love each other.
That's a good take, like resolving in front of them as well. I like that.
I like it. All right, last one. Might be the most controversial, might not.
I know.
Timeouts are outdated and harmful.
I don't know. Like I use timeouts like with Katie, and sometimes we still do, but we don't call them timeouts like or the naughty corner or anything like that. We call it room time, and it's like reflection time, and usually she'll come back with like a letter that she's written or something, just to like even rationally express what she's trying to say instead of like having a full-on meltdown. And sometimes I put myself in timeout, to be honest. Like, but maybe it's age dependent, because when she was like really young, it did not work, and it like she would leave timeout like hyperventilating, and I'm like, I feel like I'm being a bad mum right now. And she was there for like 1 minute. But,
wow. Yeah, that's fair. We used timeouts for Aria. We started at 1 and it didn't work. She didn't understand the concept, and so we stopped. And we looked it up, and they're like, don't use timeouts until 2. But we use it. She is 17 months currently, and it works wonders. It gives her a moment to chill out. Gives her a moment to have some consequences. And she responds really, really well to it, because she understands that, oh, if you're going to hit mum and you're not going to use your hands in a kind, gentle way, like mum's going to make sure that she's safe, and she's going to put you where she knows that you're going to be safe, and she's going to be safe. But we always follow it up with why they're there. You know, we want them to understand that they're not just there because they're a bad kid, but because they do need some space to think about what's going on. And reasoning hasn't kicked in for Aria's age group, but there's definitely the action and consequence, and they understand, oh, when I do that, this happens, and I don't like that. So pattern recognition is developing. So we use that. I stand by Super Nanny. She's a super nanny for a reason, and the naughty spot will live on.
I'm actually curious though, like when you say time out, like what does that mean? Because I think for some parents it's like chuck them in a room and like I'll talk to you later. And
I don't like the idea of doing it in a room for me personally because that's your sleeping space.
Yeah.
And I don't like to entangle the two. And so we just put her on a piece of furniture that she is off the ground and that we can put her back on. And it's really relatable to any situation we go into. I mean, there's always, well, I say always, but maybe there's a spot that it isn't. But generally, there's a piece of furniture available, and so it is applicable to any situation you go into.
So she's still close by.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's...
And we also do cut it short if we see that she needs some emotional regulation. Like if she is beside herself, like we will go over and we will comfort her. But we'll still go, hey, you still need to sit here for a little bit because there is a consequence to this behavior that you've done. And so many people are going to argue with me, but I so don't care.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
So do what's best for your family, you know, your kids, see what they respond to, see what they don't. Just make sure you're healthy, that you love your kids and that you're not acting out of anger.
Yeah. That's a big one.
Moving on, talking about you and your life. Like we just want to get to know you more because you're a pretty interesting person.
Thanks.
And something I guess that people probably don't know about you from just looking at you is that you were a teen mum.
Technically. Yeah.
Technically. You were a teenager, 19, right?
Yes, yeah. Pregnant at 18, had her just after I turned 19, yeah.
Dang. But, I mean, you look at 18, 19-year-olds, they're not developed in any way.
No, it's terrifying to think about for
Yeah.
the 18, 19-year-olds that I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, like, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Do you remember, like, what it felt like when you first realised you were pregnant? Talk me through that.
Yeah, I was shocked and I think I was a little bit numb.
Yeah.
Because I thought that the lifestyle that I'd chosen was like protecting me from like feeling anything. I was kind of just escaping anything I could, like feeling any real feelings. And yeah, and I was taking contraception, and so I thought that meant that I was good, I could do whatever I wanted, because I thought I was an adult and really smart. And then I saw the line and I just cracked up laughing because I was like, of course this happens. And I just couldn't stop laughing for like an hour, to be honest.
Wow.
And then I called one of my friends and then I almost cried, and then I just like kept laughing because I'm like, no, it's funny. And it wasn't funny. It wasn't until I told my parents, and I lived in Australia at the time, and they were really disappointed and hung up on me and didn't talk to me for a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's when I was like, oh no, like this is my whole life. Like every dream that I've had like is kind of not gone down the toilet, but it's been postponed for at least 20 years.
Can I just say, like, I'm sorry they respond in that way.
Oh, thanks.
It's a really hard thing and a really brave thing to say.
Yeah.
But to be met with that, like I can only imagine how it must have made you feel.
I think I understand because my mum was a teen mum as well. And she had her first kid at 18, and she carried still carries a lot of the like trauma from that whole experience because it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And she was Catholic and got forced to marry the guy, and it's just a whole thing. And there's a lot of teen mums in my family, and so my family were like, you're going to be different. And I wasn't different, and it caused a lot of relational breakdown, I guess you could say, until Katie came along, and then they're like besotted with her and still are. Yeah, so
it's funny how like babies do bring family together.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm always so blown away with what having Aria did to my family. But yeah, man, that walk me through if you feel comfortable, what it was like to tell your parents. I mean, how do you even broach that topic?
Yeah, it was like, it felt shameful, I think. Like, yeah, because I really did think that I was like really smart and really grown up and able to make all these decisions, like moving to another country. Like, I'd moved to Australia twice in the time that I was 18. Like, I was just really running from like, yeah, how I felt about life. And so telling them that was almost like I knew I was going to get an I told you so of some kind.
Yeah.
And it was hard, especially because it was my dad that was the most disappointed, and he's never responded. Like, even talk about it now makes me a little bit emotional, because he's never been like that. Like, he's pretty chill. He's pretty chill. He's like highly opinionated, quietly, but he's never like. Yeah, I almost felt like, and they didn't explicitly say this, but I almost felt like disowned for a couple of days. But then when I like came back, because my mum was obviously a bit softer, because she's like, oh, I can't say much, like, kind of thing. But yeah, like, it healed, and yeah, but my relationship with my mum healed when I was pregnant as well. Like, we had a terrible relationship when I was a teenager, real bad. And then being pregnant, like, really, like, I needed her. And I think that because I was humble enough to be like, no, like, I need my mum, it did a lot of, healing in some areas. And then we've had to do re-healing in later in life, and that's okay as well. But yeah, so just shameful, I think, is like the feeling that I had at the time, not now.
I'm glad that you don't feel like that now. I just want to go back in time and hug the 19-year-old Mikayla, 18-year-old. It's a lot. It's a lot for you to carry on your shoulders. Were there any moments that you ever felt judged in your pregnancy by other people?
Definitely. Because my family wasn't like a Christian family, but I very much was in a Christian context before I left, because I was heavily involved in a youth group and in the church that ran the youth group. And so when I came back, like, you can't hide being pregnant. And like, you have to tell people, like, yep, like,
I'm not just fat.
Yeah, like, I went and I moved, like, to a different country with the guy that you guys all told me was going to be bad for me. And exactly what you guys warned me would happen did happen, even though I took all the, like, worldly precautions that I thought were necessary. And it was really hard. And I walked around, like, with shame on my shoulders for years. It took a long time, and I really felt like I was used goods, and that all I was good for was to kind of, like, is the word penance, like, to, like, make up for all the bad that I'd done. And I felt dirty, and I felt like completely worthless. But I knew that the baby in my womb was worth everything, and that she'd never, like, done anything wrong, and that she deserved the life that I desired. And so I kept going back to where my faith, like, believed that is, like, with the church. And I just, like, walked in and kind of tried to hold my head high, but didn't really. It kind of just hung in shame. But I had one person, like, at an event that I was at, come over to me and, like, speak over me. I didn't know them at all, but they told me, like, that I wasn't just pregnant with a baby, but I was pregnant with promise as well. And that really started to, like, shift the way that I thought about the journey that I was on, I guess. And I still think about that all the time.
Wow.
Really grateful for
That's
that
really
person.
powerful.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be people listening who have either been in a similar situation to you. Maybe they got pregnant in a way that they didn't expect to, or not at the time that they wanted to, or not with the person that they wanted to. What would you say to those people?
It's hard because it depends on the context, but I think I guess my advice or just like reminding would be like, you're never alone. And though like you might feel shame or feel like everything's like gonna go wrong or has gone wrong, there is always redemption. And like shame doesn't have a place like on any of us. Like there is always forgiveness, there is always freedom, and there is always a step forward, and you can leave the shame behind. And I just would encourage anyone in that situation to like focus on the kid and focus on who you want to be for that kid, and also focus on healing yourself too, because you're not gonna be able to be the parent that you need to be if you don't focus on yourself, in a non-narcissistic kind of way. I think, does that make sense? Okay,
Absolutely. I think that's beautifully said. Truly.
Thanks.
And I hope that the people who find themselves in that situation hear what you're saying, because there's a lot of wisdom to that.
Thanks.
Unfortunately, a lot of people who do end up in this situation, it's not an uncommon one, especially in today's day and age, but they find themselves as a single parent. But something that I haven't heard a lot about is what it's like to date as a single parent. And knowing a little bit about your dating journey, it's a pretty entertaining one.
Definitely.
So I guess what was the experience of dating like for you as a single mum?
It was a roller coaster. I definitely went through a lot of seasons in dating, and when Katie was really little, I still had that felt that loneliness, because it's lonely, especially those newborn, well, the whole thing, but those newborn phases, doing that alone, without someone to share it with, it does feel very lonely. And so I was straight on dating apps at that point, and not a good idea, wouldn't recommend that. And I was just looking for companionship and fun at that point.
I mean, you were a teenager, you were a young mum.
Still 19, and I learned pretty quickly that was dumb, and that I shouldn't be looking to fill some kind of void with a person.
That's so hard, because juggling being a teen and wanting to still experience life in the way that you felt a teen should be able to, and juggling your new identity as a mother. How does that work?
It's I don't know, I didn't do it perfectly, I'll be real, I made lots of mistakes, when Katie,
we all do,
and I actually did end up in a serious relationship when Katie was 5 months old. I started dating a man in the church who had influence, and I trusted and very stupidly trusted and ignored red flags, because it was oh my goodness, finally someone's kind of chosen me, and because I was so focused on having fun and falling in love and being young, as you say, the balance kind of went out, and I actually I lost my breast milk. I couldn't breastfeed her after 6 months because I wasn't spending enough time focusing. I should have been focusing on that in hindsight, and it's and I don't have any anger or anything towards myself over that, but it's just one of the fruits of not doing that balance well, I guess. So
you experience physical repercussions.
Yes, because I wasn't able to well, if you're out on a date, you don't want to be hold on, I'll be right back, I'm going to go pump. It's a bit awkward. Or even feeding in front of a guy you're just getting to know. It's it's a bit, it was tricky, and I wish that I pause that. Well, I don't wish, because I'm grateful for every like experience that I have.
Yeah.
But I would advise someone in the same situation to just pause the dating part until you like are settled in your life as a mum, because that, I focused on that way too early, and it caused way more bad than good. Yeah. But later now it's obviously married, and that's great, and learnt my lesson.
And I guess some people out there talking about red flags can see being a parent as a red flag.
I guess so.
Especially as a single parent. I know I had a conversation with Liam, and he's like, obviously I love Aria. He's like, if you had a kid, I wouldn't have looked at you twice. And I'm like, I don't know how to like take that. He's like, but it's a reflection of like where I was at. Like I didn't have the responsibility for that. I didn't have the connection to the child that was inside you if it wasn't mine. And so like, why would I take that on if I wasn't ready for it, if I couldn't do it well? And so I guess in that manner, I'm sure there was some hesitation around discussing being a mum with people who potentially weren't going to hold that kindly.
Yeah, for sure. I think I took the approach of like getting to know people in person, like, and like a couple of times I like dabbled in dating apps, but like I have an issue where I like am incapable of lying, and so it just comes out straight away, and I'm like, yeah, I love Jesus, and I'm a mum. And they're like, cool, like it's just
take it as it is, or not. Well, my question was gonna be, how do you decide when or if to tell someone you're a parent? Maybe to other people who's not Mikayla.
Well, I like. Are you talking in like specifically with dating? Yeah, I'd like being a parent is it's like 80% of my life, you know, like, and so, and it should be the biggest part of most parents' lives. Like, can't think of anything else that would be bigger than or more all consuming than being a parent. And I think that if you don't share that, you don't actually share who you are. And so you're hiding most of who you are if you don't actually share that with a person. And I think it's dishonest, depending on how long you leave it. If you're just like kind of
first date,
it depends how deep you get in the first date.
That's fair.
But if you just met someone, like, I don't think you need to like,
hi, I'm a mum.
Exactly. It's my whole identity. No, but I would I would advise not hiding it.
Yes. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
No, it's not. And like, and you're so right though, like people do look at it as a red flag, but I think if that's the mindset that someone has, like that's not the kind of person you want to be kind of dating anyway. Not because they're then a bad person, but like as a single parent or as any kind of parent, that's a red flag. Like for your dating life, for them to be like, well, I'm not going to date you because you're a mum. I've actually had people say that to me. They're like, you're like the ideal Christian woman, but I could just never like date you because you're a mum. And I'm like, why would you say that? That's such a strange thing to say to someone. Liam. But like, as like people that I actually know, and I'm like, cool, thanks. I'm glad we got that covered. But David didn't like even think about dating me at first because I had a kid.
David, her husband.
Oh, my husband, and he fell in love with me because we were friends, and then he had to consider the fact that I had a kid, and I had to consider the fact that he would be a father figure, and like, is this the kind of man I want her to see on a day-to-day basis? Which obviously I decided,
long story short, they got married.
He's awesome, but I'd much rather someone seeing me and like then decide rather than weigh it up because whether or not I have a kid.
That's so fair and a good perspective too. It kind of leads me into my next question, like, how do you navigate the balance between protecting your child's needs and honoring your own emotional and romantic needs when considering a future partner? There's that balance again, isn't it?
It is, I think generally speaking, this could just be wrong and speculative on my point because that's just my experience, but I think that if someone is good for you, they would be someone that's good for your kid anyway. And if, like, for example, my first serious relationship, I was engaged to someone and I didn't pick up on the red flags and I thought that I was doing the balance well, and then it wasn't until it became like she was in the room for some of the like violence or whatever you want to call it, that it would be like, oh, okay, hold on, this is really bad for my kid. But if I had have been more eyes open to that, like, and hey, is this good for me? But I thought I was staying with him because he loved her and he was a good like person for her and he was like a man of God and whatever you want to call it. And I stayed too long for the wrong reasons. And then but then with David, like, he did not click with Katie first, like, straight away, like, and me and him were like best friends. But he's not like a fun-loving kind of guy. Like, he's like I'm going to sit and think for a while kind of guy.
Very contemplative.
Very contemplative. And Katie's like energy plus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Severely.
Like, and she even told me, she's like, I don't want you to marry David. Like, when we were just friends, she's like, don't marry David. Like, you have to marry that one instead. And she'd like pick my friends she wanted me to marry. I'm like, well, that's awkward because like I have feelings for David, but like it's probably never gonna happen anyway. But then it did, and then she told him that the reason was because his teeth were yellow, and she didn't like him because he didn't have white teeth. And I was like, okay. Gosh. But then he's been amazing for her, like, and kind of centers her, and like the same way that he does for me. And so I think just generally speaking, if they're a healthy person, like they'll be healthy for your kid as well. But just don't like push your kid aside to pursue something. I think is, like, you've got to keep communication open and keep, like, your kid can't become less important because you are now pursuing like a relationship with someone else. Like, that can never happen. Obviously, when you're in a marriage, it's different, and your marriage is the center of your home, and so it has to be prioritized. But but we found that flow before we got married. So, and
from an outsider's perspective and being able to glimpse a little bit into the relationship that Katie and David have, like, what a beautiful one it is. And you can see that it's built on trust and respect rather than fun and chaos, which, you know, normally a lot of people like start with, but I think having that trust and respect is something that's earned over years, and to see how fast they did that really shows the quality of relationship that's there. Yeah,
for sure. She definitely trusts him. Yeah. It's really hard not to trust David. He's like me. He's like too honest. But so, like, you know everything he's thinking, so I'm like, I can't doubt you anyway. Even though I know things I wish I didn't know. Like, but yeah.
So obviously, you know, you're a mum to Katie and to this beautiful baby growing inside you, but I would like to say that you're also like a stand-in mum for a lot of other people in your life. I think as a youth pastor, one, you're literally a godsend, because that is one of the hardest jobs in the world to do, in my opinion. But I guess, how does it feel to take on a parental role with some of the youth that you work with? Because, you know, to some, you're probably the most consistent adult in their life.
Yeah. It's actually a hard question to answer, because I think, like, it feels like a lot of pressure sometimes, but when it feels like a lot of pressure is when I'm like, okay, like, I need to take a step back, like, I'm taking on too much responsibility here, and just like reminding myself that, like, as much as I would love to take like half of them in, honestly, like, I'll be your mum, I'm not their mum, and so there has to be healthy boundaries that I constantly have to like go and like pray and like ask for like wisdom for, because it's really like, especially I think youth work and youth pastoring, like it's different in the sense that like there's a lot more freedom to like kind of be involved in their lives as a youth pastor. Like you can be involved with family, and it's a very like free flowing kind of role, and you can very much operate in it in a way that works for like your personality and what works for the young person. So I just am always trying not to like overstep, but also always being available, because you're right, a lot of young people don't have consistent adults in their lives, and I don't want to ever get a like phone call at 3 a.m. where they needed someone to answer and not pick up my phone. A lot of people would not agree with that, and a lot of youth workers are like, you can't do that, because like then you don't have any boundaries. But I'm like, some of them I leave, like I will turn my phone on do not disturb, and you have like the contacts that can still come through. Like some of my youth have that because they need it, but they don't use it often. Yeah, and they don't know they're on the list. I wouldn't tell them, because then maybe they would use it often. But yeah, a lot of pressure, but huge privilege at the same time.
Yeah.
And I just, pray that I do a good job.
Yeah.
Because so many people say like, oh, it's such a hard job. Like,
It's because it is.
It's felt hard in some aspects, but not in the aspects that I think most people would find hard.
I think that working with teens sounds hard.
Yeah, see, I just love them, and they're funny to me, because I'm like, one day you're going to remember this and you're going to be like, what was I doing? Because I hated my youth pastor. I'm sure he'll never see this, but like when I was a teenager, like I respected him, and I didn't understand why, but because I'm like, and I know you're right about things, but no, you're not. Like, and I, I fought with him all the time, and I just thought I was way like smarter than him. And then I look back, I'm like so grateful for him, because I don't think I'd be who I am today if it wasn't for him. And so, I just think it depends on who you are as to whether it's difficult or not, or what God's graced you with. Yeah, because they don't annoy me the same way they annoy other people. Although some of them have annoyed me. But
yeah,
depends.
Do you have any good stories?
Not ones that I can share. But yeah, I've had like teenagers try and like fight me, and like full on like fight. I've had parents come to fight me, which is, it's just interesting. It depends on what demographic you're working with at the time. But then I've also had like, I've picked up young people from parties because they've needed it, and they have like told me what they really thought, and just told me like horrendous things like that they think about me, and then the next day they won't remember, and they're like, hi, and they like love me, and I'm like, I'll just never tell them that they say that about me.
Wow.
Yeah, so
truly are a woman of God.
Because it's just interesting, and I just most of the stories just make me sad for the generation that is the one that's coming up, and
What insights has being a youth pastor in this day and age given you about this next generation? You say you're sad, but why?
Mostly just because how disconnected they are, and how anxious like a lot of them are. Every so often you meet a healthy young person, you're like, wow. And I'm
you
like,
exist.
Yeah, and it's like, this shouldn't be unusual. Like it should be more unusual to have like anxious and depressed young people than it is to have healthy young people. But it's very much changed. And I don't remember when I was a young person it being as bad as it is, and maybe it was because I was a teenager then, and thought I knew everything and didn't. But it makes me sad because their form of connection is on a phone, and it is actually so bad. Like it really is so bad, and it makes me like convicts me of like I shouldn't be on this thing all the time.
I reckon it goes back to what you were talking about, exposure that kids get on devices, and that they have access to so many things at their fingertips. And I feel like the time in between our generation and their generation, a lot of mental health has been romanticized
Mm-hmm.
in a really disgusting way.
Mm-hmm.
And people have cottoned on to the fact that it gains attention. And I think once you start thinking down that process, it can lead to a lot of things.
Definitely. Yeah. And even like you have young people that see their friends like in certain struggles. Even like eating is a really big one.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they obsessing over that can actually put them in a place where they're struggling with the same thing. And it might start with attention, but then it actually becomes a genuine issue that they can't break off easily and they need like professional help with. And then depression, like if you start like dwelling on the things that someone in a depressive mindset is dwelling on, of course you're going to fall down there. And when it becomes a cultural thing with like an entire generation, you have the culture of the generation isn't great. And like I say, it does make me sad, but there is hope, and it's a beautiful thing to watch young people come out of that. And it happens. It does happen. I just wish it happened more.
We had an incredible speaker, Julia, come and speak to us, and she goes around telling young people like your teens, like how to be kind to their mind. And I think cool. it's not a skill that's taught in our education system at all. And I'm kind of like, what are we feeding our kids in terms of curriculum? Because I wonder if am I touching on about it? But I'm like, what are we actually doing to set our children up for success?
Yeah.
Like, great, they know all about sex and all about gender ideology now. Thanks.
Or at least what they're being taught about it. Do they know about it, or do they know what some people want them to know about it?
Definitely a perception of what it is.
Yes.
But like, what are we doing to back up all those things now?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I think the biggest thing that they should be teaching in school, and I remember being taught in school, but now you can't because like you don't want to make people uncomfortable, is like actually pushing young people out of their comfort zone, because as soon as they're out of that, they learn how to kind of like resolve a lot of these internal feelings, and you don't have that anymore. Like I remember being left in like a bush for an hour in the dark, and like everyone had to do that, and it was like, stay at this tree in like the middle of nowhere, and I'm like crying because I'm like, I can't believe my teacher left me in the middle of nowhere. And at the time I'm like, this is the worst thing ever.
Please tell me this was like some sort of orienteering exercise.
It was a school camp, and everyone did it. So it was like he walked us all around and dropped us off at a bush, and we were in the middle of nowhere. And so we live in New Zealand, like no bear's going to eat me, it's fine. But it was really character building, and like so many of us were terrified, but then we went back afterwards and we all felt like really proud, and like we just overcame something that was hard. And like even going to detention, and like there actually being consequences for your actions at school, like that was character building. Or having to do a speech like at school, not being able to say, you can just record it and send it to the teacher and no one will see it. Like you had to get up there and you had to do a speech. And I think we should bring that stuff back, because
maybe not all of that stuff. I'm definitely not pushing
not
forward. Don't go and leave your children at night
we were teenagers
in a bush.
We were teenagers
for character building.
We were year 10, so that's what, 14 years old. It was definitely interesting. I wonder if they told our parents they were going to do it before they did it.
There'd be a lot more stuff that you'd have to do around that these days.
For sure.
I like the idea of encouraging our kids. The words slip my mind. You'll probably be able to help me. It's like questioning things. Critical thinking. And critical thinking's not taught anymore. We're told to go along with what the people in authority are telling us. And I would say our generation have lost the ability to critical think.
Yeah.
And it's led us to a lot of problems. Misinformation, for example, like we're believing everything we're told.
Yeah, and not doing any research, because no
Exactly.
one knows how to research things, and like it's very easy to research things, but no one does it.
Even up to like university age, like we're being taught one thing. What is it like to have a world where we're challenged by different perspectives and we receive that in an honouring way and don't have to agree with it to be friends?
Yes, I strongly agree with you on that, because I think that's what we've lost. We've lost the ability to disagree with each other and still respect each other. And people are now being defined by their views, which is ridiculous. Because like we have different views on a lot of things, and we're still able to be, we're still able to be friends. And like me and my family, like most of my family think I'm insane for believing what I believe, and but there's still love and respect there, and I think
let's fight well.
Yeah, exactly. And just like understand that people are allowed their own opinions, and that's fine. And you're probably wrong about some things, and I'm probably wrong about a lot of things. Everyone's probably wrong about a lot of things, except God. He knows. But yeah, I agree. Is the long story short.
Yeah. I mean, even in this episode, there's probably a lot of people sitting there going, "Oh, I hate that they just said that."
Yeah, probably.
Disagree with it so much, and guess what? You're allowed to, and I respect you for it.
Yeah.
Good critical thinking right there.
Yeah, for sure. I always say to people, like, just change my mind. Like, that's fine. I have a youth leader that got a bit like grumpy with me because I joked about how I didn't think the moon landing really happened, and he's like,
"Is there a chance they might see this?"
Maybe, but it was pretty funny. And I was like, I don't care if the moon landing happened, but it was a very funny conversation. And I was like, changed my mind. Like, like it's just fun to have those conversations. But most people really rub them up the wrong way, which is interesting.
How about you get uncomfortable? You might grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I just want to also say, like, be kind to people.
Yeah.
Be kind. I mean, if you disagree with something, be kind about it, because like you don't know what's led them to believe what they've believed. You don't know what circumstances they've gone through that may reinforce their ideas or beliefs. And ultimately, who are you to be mean?
Yeah.
Like, as mums especially, like, this obviously is a mother's podcast, but like we're going to have different ways that we raise our kids. We're going to have different beliefs and methodologies that we raise them with. But like, how about instead of judging each other, we show kindness and include each other, so we do have that broad perspective of what could be good for us.
For sure. I think everything should come from compassion. That's like what I always remind myself of. I'm like, if I'm disagreeing with someone, like I have to have compassion first, or I probably will come across a little bit mean.
Yeah. I've been on the other end of that. And I guess like through our discussion of like you being a single mom and even dating, like you just don't know what someone's going through, and I think it's so important that we look to have compassion for people before we judge their situations. So thank you for being such a beautiful example of the fact that you can't judge a book by a cover. And I know we have had like previous run-ins. If I had judged you from the moment I had met you and interacted with you at that time, we wouldn't be friends here today. So yeah, thank you for being a good example to me about the fact that you can't judge a book by its cover. And thank you for being here today and just like coming and sharing your wisdom and your hot takes. You're just such an awesome person, and I feel like people will be really blessed to hear your story and to have a glimmer of maybe someone who's a little bit further in their journey than they might be.
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah.
You're welcome. That's a wrap.
And my Instagram account is m.kaylaedwards.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And that's the only, I'm on Threads.